Morning everyone, I'm Dylan Thomas, one of the senior portfolio managers at Hackstons in London. We're outside Blackrock today, which is one of the hidden gems in the city for sure. Brilliant whiskey selection, but I'll let these guys, the experts, tell you a bit more. Alex, hi. How are you?
Good, and you?
Yeah, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Everyone, this is Alex. He's the head barman, head mixologist, I guess you could call yourself, here at Blackrock. So why don't you tell everyone, how did you get into the industry?
It's been a quite nice and long journey. It's been, seven and a half years I've been in the industry. Everything actually started here in London when I moved 7.5 years ago. First job occasion that I had was a position that was in a bar that was going to become a whiskey bar.
Okay.
So basically, I can say that the love that I developed for whiskey basically was burned by drinking, certainly.
Okay.
But also having up the opportunity to be in a bar that he had more than 500 bottles of different bourbon. Blackrock is best specialist whiskey bar 4 years in a row. It's been in the industry in London for 7 years now.
Okay.
Here's where we try to do whiskey a little bit differently from maybe other places.
Yeah.
As you might see, the first two things that will pop up on your view is definitely the cabinets. Here's where we try to break some of the pressure that people have when it comes to choose their own whiskey. So as you see, we do categorize everything by flavor profile. We have 6 cabinets basically where we do arrange all our smoky whiskey, the fruity one, the balance, the fragrance, and then we got spice and sweet.
Nice.
6 main flavor profile, simply because it makes much easier for people to approach the whiskey rather than to dig between labels and different type of.
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I already know this table, right? Very special, but the people at home won't know why this bar is so special because of this table.
Yes.
Can you just tell us a little bit, and then we'll sit down and promise we can drink some whiskey?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here we have our quite unique type of tool. It's 185 years plus English oak. It's a real thing. It's not just a nice piece of furniture itself, but it's also very functional for us. Simply because, as you might see, we have 2 glass panels running in the middle. Underneath we have chambers, each one of the capacity of 25 liters, created out of a different type of oak for different type of whiskey finishing. So yeah, we are actually storaging and giving extra maturation to our 2 signature cocktail inside our beautiful trunk table. Here we got a couple of taps. Here's where we are releasing the whiskey from. But yeah, I would say let's sit down and let's talk a little bit more about whiskey.
So Alex, how many whiskies do you carry here at Blackrock?
So at the moment we have about 230. It's always very flexible. We don't have a precise number, simply because we try to recycle as many whiskey as we can every weekend.
Okay.
So whatever we finish, we try to replace it with something different the week after, simply because it will keep all our regulars and people that comes in to find something new every time they come around.
How do you go about choosing the selection of what you carry here?
So we basically, me and the team itself, we browse whiskies all week long. So we always try to keep good attention of new releases, anything that could be or could seems appealing for us, but also for the client.
For sure.
We tried, of course, to have as much large as we can variety of whiskey. So of course the region has a bit of a role in that. So we try to have whiskey from all over the world, simply because also they reflect different type of flavor profile, which is still the main things that we focus on.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And I think what everyone wants to know, what's the most expensive whiskey that people drink here?
So policy-wise, we try to keep whiskey as much as affordable as we can.
Okay.
But of course, every week we try to go through and have some quite rare whiskey. So now it might not be the most expensive bottle, but it turned to be a bottle that it became very appealing for collector. In less than a week, it literally show you the bottle first. Here we have a little Springbank local barley, one of the latest release. As I mentioned, it won't be the most expensive bottle on the market, but because it's like so small quantity and it's a very great quality whiskey, people and collectors are like, are quite after it.
For sure.
So you will see how, like, in less than a week after being released, it turned to be quite expensive on auction.
And then I noticed there's no fireplace here.
No, we don't.
There's no cigars.
No, we don't.
Smoking jackets. No.
As you can see, this is literally like it's how we are trying to break the old misconception of, like, whiskey should be enjoyed necessarily by the fireplace with a cigar. That's something that it's linked and chained to the past.
For sure.
Young generation are drinking whiskey in a completely different manner. Those days, there is a larger variety of people that are actually enjoying whiskey.
Yeah.
So, as you might see, we don't really need a fireplace. Actually, like, we might do literally the opposite.
Sure.
A large table, different groups start talking to each other and just commenting the whiskey that they're having, which makes whiskey more social than what used to be.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So not everyone who walks in here is of the same age, demographic.
Nah, absolutely not.
Absolutely
not.
Okay.
Certainly, we have like any type of people, any type of age.
And then one thing that I really want to know as well, because I'm not a massive whiskey drinker myself. So what would you recommend for someone that is still kind of in their early stages of?
I would say
they
that
don't
you're
really
in the
know what
perfect
they
place.
like. Yeah.
I would say that you're in the perfect place.
Nice.
So it happens quite often every week, basically, that we have people that never have drinking or has drank whiskey before.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned, here where we try to remove a bit of like the pressure off. So usually we advise people to start either with a whiskey eyeball, which is a quite common thing those days. And it's going to become more popular and more popular in a very short future. But also, like many of like the cocktail, we have a whiskey cocktail list, which is basically have been created for helping people that don't have much experience with whiskey, or they feel a little bit afraid to just try some single malts or maybe some Japanese or some American. So for us, having like a nice cocktail whiskey list, it's something that helps us and help people just to have a first approach to whiskey itself.
Okay, well, let's try something Scotch based.
Yeah, I think you should definitely try our Perfect Scotch Old Fashioned from the table.
Awesome, yeah, perfect.
So, here I'm gonna make for you now what we call the Perfect Scotch Old Fashioned. Is our signature cocktail, which is a blend of like 3 different whiskey from Scotland, from different regions in Scotland with 3 different flavor profiles, blended together with a bit of a Sherry Oloroso from Spain. So I like the fruity light of the fruity side of the drink, but also to create the condition for what we call the Perfect Scotch Old Fashioned. Cool, so let's go and give it a try. So here you have our signature drink. It's what we call the Perfect Scotch Old Fashioned, which is a blend of 3 different whiskey from Scotland. Literally, we have Balvenie 12 from the Space side, which is quite fruity. Then we got Glenfiddich 12 from the island, which is like iconically well balanced. And then we finish with Elizabeth, which is like quite a recent brand from the lowland, which is also slightly small. Nice. We also add a bit of a Sherry Oloroso to the ratio, and we mature the whole batch of the cocktail literally in our limousine oak channel inside the table.
Awesome. Let's give it a go.
Is it that perfect?
Yeah, that is actually really nice. I could actually drink this. I'm not a huge whiskey drinker, but this is...
So yeah, you have a bit of a fruitiness, you have a bit of a tiny nuttiness. Also, there is a secret ingredient which is not physically present in a cocktail.
Okay.
It's stout. I don't know if you drink Guinness, but there is a bit of a like stouty flavor in the drink. Simply because we are seasoning every 6 months our channel with something different.
Yeah.
At the moment we are doing it every 6 months with 25 liters of Guinness.
Wow.
So there will also be a tiny bit of influence.
Yeah, for sure.
In there.
Yeah, it's really smooth and it's quite sweet.
Yeah, you got like
it doesn't taste that heavy. Yeah. Not peaty, not smoky. I'm not.
It's not extremely smoky. It's not extremely smoky. It's slightly smoked because there is Elizabeth, which is like a peated, slightly smoked whiskey.
Yeah.
But in a complex, the drink itself doesn't appear like, you know, a smoky cocktail or something that it's only for some certain type of people. It can be quite easy drinkable.
Is it the sherry that gives it that slightly sweeter?
That's
the
yes.
Yeah.
The Oloroso, it's adding a bit of a fruitiness. It's adding
it's
a bit
nice.
of like, it's adding like a bit of sweet to the drink itself.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've got to try this.
That is actually really nice. That's really nice.
I told you.
And that is someone who really doesn't like whiskey.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can vouch for
Perfect.
you.
I can stay here all day. Awesome. Well, look, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for your time today, Alex. And yeah, we're definitely going to come here a bit more often than we have been, for sure.
Please do.
Yeah, it's been really insightful getting a bit more information about whiskey and how it is becoming more approachable to kind of the everyman, I guess you could say. It's not just smoking jackets and cigars. So yeah.
Absolutely right.
Awesome.
It's been a pleasure.
No, awesome. Take it easy. See you soon.